What is life like as an attractive person? The amount of men and women that find reasons to touch you is ridiculous. At least for beautiful women it polarizes people. Some people, both men and women, either love you or hate you automatically. Considering how I see people rate themselves on Instagram, I doubt even half the people answering this question are attractive by consensus. Lamau. I can't speak for myself, being resolutely average in the looks department. But years ago I worked with a female colleague who was easily a 9. She was great to work with because she was also ferociously smart. And day we were returning from a client visit and walked into the moderately busy reception area of our head office, discussing our last meeting. I could see the effect Angelica had when we walked in. It was like a slow-motion silent bomb going off with her in the epicenter, slow-moving but inexorable waves of impact resonating out from her that caused all the men to slowly turn, stare, and forget momentarily what they were saying, before they regained their composure. She never missed a beat, didn't acknowledge it or turn her head, and we kept discussing our business meeting, while walking through this battlefield of slain Romeos, but it gave me a glimpse into what this must be like for her all the time. Live in LA. By LA standards, I'm ugly. I don't turn heads. But when I go outside of LA or out of state, I must be pretty damn attractive, because I turn heads. And get checked out. Attractiveness is relative. Complaining, the pros outweigh the cons. But it can be scary. Going out at night is scary. Getting catcalled is scary. Also, a lot of people don't talk about this, but being attractive as a child is scary too. So many grown men flirted with me and stared at me as soon as I turned 12-13. The world is a scary place. I was attractive, it was great. Now that I'm middle-aged, I've lost the powers I once had. Got a taste of this by accident. I started a job the same day as another guy. Of course he was taller, younger and looked like he worked out. We both talked to the HR lady at the same time, and I can only assume she got our names confused because the next day my access card was not working and I texted her letting her know to activate the card. She replied back saying she would take care of my issue and dropped a few winky suggestive emoji. Keep in mind this is coming from human resource, the people that tell you to behave at work. Anywho, if you're attractive, people are much more helpful and a lot nicer. They will smile at you more and women will actually go out of their way to be more flirty without you needing to make the first move. I'm not attractive, but one time, I ate a very good macaroni salad. Honestly, I do not enjoy. Elephant in the room is that even candidly admitting to or acknowledging my being conventionally attractive makes me look like a douche, even if someone else forces the subject. On the flip side, me denying it makes people roll their eyes at me. It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation that's led to me just trying to stay away from the topic altogether, but unfortunately discussions about my appearance come up more often than I'd like. Second, I don't like the direct and flirty attention I sometimes find myself receiving. I do not have the extroversion I imagine most expect from conventionally attractive people, and I often don't know how to react to flirting. What's more, I'm happily married and have no interest in reciprocating anyone's attempts, so anytime someone starts doing it, my head becomes entirely occupied with finding a graceful exit. Third, in my experience, women can be far more aggressive with their flirtation than what I think many people assume, and it's unfortunately tough to talk about this when it happens with most people without them lambasting me. What's wrong with you? I would love it if that were me in that position. Add to this the awkwardness of when I, a straight man, find myself being flirted with by a gay man. I've had my crotch groped, arms squeezed, and ass slapped, and I've been at the end of more sleazy jokes than I can count, sometimes even when I've been out with a wife and kids. But everyone laughs because, hey, I'm a guy, so it's all in good fun, right? Fourth, and perhaps worst of all, it's hard to tell if people are ever genuine with me, and it's led to some weird and fluctuating self-confidence issues. Was that a genuine laugh? What I just said was stupid. Why didn't anyone acknowledge that? Do they actually like me for me? Yes, I know the last one sounds cliché, but it's true. Needless to say, taking compliments at face value is next to impossible. 1. People stare a lot. 2. I thought I had a great personality and that's why people liked me. Only a few years ago I learned that my old friends used to consider me to have a weird disposition, upside down face. Grew up a bit chunky. I wasn't ugly but my face was puffy and I was a late treat me kinder. Overall now, I feel more socially accepted. Especially now that I'm also bad as unwanted attention, especially as a female, which can sometimes feel uncomfortable. I'm also a blonde and the amount of times men have thought they can just grab me inappropriately, or even advance on me in other ways is crazy. I often don't want to walk out in public and walk past tradies due to being catcalled. I don't feel taken seriously by some men. I never dealt with any of this when I wasn't deemed. I've had a few weird messages asking for a face reveal, and I don't know if you all are being creepy or don't believe me, but I think I'm qualified to answer. Smiley face. I used to escort for wealthy men. They wouldn't have picked me out of thousands of options if I wasn't attractive enough for the job. Used to be beautiful and relatively skinny before having a child and being diagnosed with a thyroid issue. People were so much nicer to me. Pretty privilege is a very real thing. I don't know how to describe it, but people were more interested in approaching you, holding the door open for you, making small talk. Especially with men. The staring, like everywhere from the shops to walking the streets, the constant eyes on you, and double takes. For the longest time I thought I had something was wrong with me looks-wise because it was a lot insecurities I guess, but as I have grown older, 23, I get asked out nearly everywhere I go. It's kind of exhausting. I like to be seen for me, not for my looks. Many people have considered me attractive, apparently, and due to that I haven't really ever had to try for female attention or to be in a relationship. But also, perhaps due to that, I really don't care about getting female attention, and I just focus on personal goals. Compliments also kind of just mean nothing to me now and actually cause me to like someone less if they try to compliment my appearance. Not an attractive person, I'm probably average. But I used to be absolutely morbidly obese. Almost 500 pounds. I had gastric bypass and lost weight to around half that. Still fat but nowhere near as big. Just an XL difference in the way people treated me was incredible. People made eye contact when you spoke to them. People laughed more often. They engaged you directly when you nodded a good morning or a hello. I didn't even realize how much of my personality had been a necessary correction to overcome the stigma of my size. My sense of humor, my outgoing mode when I went out in public, my need to get people to like me, the effort I had been expending was incredible, and when I lost half my body weight the effort it took was much lower, and I found myself realizing, oh my god, this is how normal people interact. I mean, people bumped into me at Costco and they then apologized and smiled and asked if I was okay? Insane. I imagine being attractive would crank that to 11. If I'm attractive, I constantly get hit on by gay guys. No attention from women. Maybe they can smell my insecurity or something.